CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson, they're going to be linked for a long, long time. Who's in the best position, though, to have the best rookie season? Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game.
Welcome to the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. And that's where you can follow along in 15 days when training camp begins. Going to be on the field. It's going to be a lovely time. We're going to talk to players, coaches, etc. We'll bring that to you there. We'll also bring it to you here inside the locker room. Subscribe, like, right along. I started this channel, I should say, right before the start of last season. Been going pretty strong since. And I appreciate you for coming through. It is the number one source for Texans digital content. We're right there in the mix and got you covered there. There's a lot of excitement surrounding the Texans, a lot of excitement surrounding the Indianapolis Colts. Much of it has to do with the most important position in the sport, the quarterback position. Anthony Richardson in Indianapolis, CJ Stroud right here in Houston. We know that there's solid context clues that lead you to believe that the Texans didn't get their top choice. And I don't know that Indianapolis got their top choice either in Anthony Richardson, but they've done a good job of adapting. They've done a hell of a job at hyping him up. Good God, Jim Irsay almost got himself in trouble yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. I actually put out a video about that earlier. Check that out. Comment on that as well. But CJ Stroud versus Anthony Richardson. This is going to be the biggest connection of CJ Stroud's career. Now, I know he's going to be connected to Bryce Young, just like Peyton Manning was connected to Ryan Leaf, just like Andrew Luck was connected to RG3. When quarterbacks go 1-2, they're always going to be connected, especially when you factor in that they've known each other for a long, long time. But the biggest connection that matters the most when it comes to evaluation and it comes to overall significance is CJ Stroud's connection to Anthony Richardson, because the Texans had a chance, had they wanted to draft Anthony Richardson. And these two guys are going to be in the same division. They're going to be facing each other multiple times each season. So that's the strong connection, which brings me to the question that I want to ask here. And I want you to tell me what you think in the comments. Who do you think has the better rookie season between these two guys? And let's also make this clear. It really doesn't matter who the hell has the better rookie season when it comes to how their careers end up. Davis Mills had a better rookie season than Trevor Lawrence. Doesn't mean shit now. RG3 had a better rookie season than Andrew Luck. Didn't mean a damn thing a few years down the line. And a lot of times when you're in good position to have a rookie season, it really doesn't have anything to do with what you did. It's about the surroundings that you end up in. And as time goes on, sometimes those get worse. Sometimes they get better. But for the sake of this, who do you think will have the better rookie season? I've divided this into three factors. There are three factors that I think matter most when it comes to how someone has a better rookie season than another quarterback. Factor number one is coaching, offensive coaching. Anthony Richardson comes into perhaps the best situation that he could find himself in. Now, what does it mean? Who knows? But he's going to be playing for Shane Steichen, who many people wanted the Texans to hire because of the reasons I'm about to break down. He has success as an offensive coordinator in multiple stops with the Chargers, with Justin Herbert, and with the Eagles, with Jalen Hurts. He's done it in multiple places. So he knows what he's doing. Like, there's nothing that he's going to have to struggle with when it comes to calling offense or overseeing the game plan. Nothing's going to be new to him. So he's not like Bobby Slowick, first-year offensive coordinator for the Texans, he's not going to have to figure stuff out logistically. And Bobby Slowick could just be a natural. It could come very natural to him. And there's a lot of things to like about Bobby Slowick. You love the system that he comes from with Kyle Shanahan. You love the fact that he seems like a smart dude, but he's never done it before. So we don't know what Bobby Slowick is. We know what Shane Steichen has done. Now, does that matter? Is Anthony Richardson in the same class as Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts? I would say no. But does it even matter if, as an offensive coordinator and a head coach, are you going to be able to have the same impact? And you factor in the talent. But as far as coaching, anything other than saying Anthony Richardson has the advantage would just be blind faith, because it's very clear. And that's a reason why Shane Steichen was such a popular candidate for the Texans. The coaching advantage by far, Anthony Richardson. And at the most, the Texans have an incomplete. There's reason for optimism, but there's an incomplete. But as far as the situation that Anthony Richardson is going into, Indianapolis is pretty damn ideal with Shane Steichen overseeing things. Factor number 2, the surrounding cast, the players that you have around you. Let's start with CJ Stroud. You feel like the offensive line is going to be good. They got a hell of a lot invested in it. You got one of the best left tackles in the game in Laramie Tunsil. You got a right tackle in Titus Howard, who is coming off a good season. And then you have Shaq Mason, who they traded for. They made the 11th, I think, top 12 highest paid guards in the league. You traded up for Juice Scruggs, took him in the second round. And Kenyon Green was a first-round pick last year. So the offensive line should be straight. Tight end, you got Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is better than any tight end that the Indianapolis Colts have. So those are two advantages that the Texans have. Now, the wide receivers, one of the biggest question marks of this ball club is the wide receivers. And at running back, you have Dameon Pierce, who's a solid running back going into his second year. But he's not as good as Jonathan Taylor as we look at the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor's a top 5 running back in Indianapolis. Quentin Nelson's one of the best offensive linemen. The Colts offensive line wasn't great last year. You expect that to improve a little bit. They have arguably the best wide receiver in the AFC South in Michael Pittman Jr. So as far as surrounding cast, I don't think CJ Stroud is out on like some sort of island. You know, this isn't like the Texans of a couple of years ago. But I would say that the advantage goes to Anthony Richardson because of Jonathan Taylor, because of Michael Pittman, and some of the other weapons they have. While there's nothing to like write home about. They're more proven. Uncertain is a word that you'll hear a lot when talking about the Texans. They're more proven than the Texans. So I would give the cast advantage to Anthony Richardson and the Indianapolis Colts as well. So 2 factors in, 2 out of 3. Anthony Richardson and the Indianapolis, because of the unknown, they have the advantage in coaching and surrounding cast. Now, notice that neither of these things have anything to do with Anthony Richardson. This could have been any quarterback, any rookie quarterback. They would have had these advantages. So this is not a knock on CJ Stroud. This is really just the state of the Texans roster and really the unknown. And what we don't know up to this point with the Texans, what Bobby Slowick is, how these receivers are going to perform, et cetera. And really just kind of the fact that Indianapolis has the better skill position talent up to this point. Factor 3, though, who is the most ready to play and who shows the most promise as an NFL quarterback? This one isn't close. This isn't, you can call the Anthony Richardson thing unknown. You can say he's unproven. He's had chance to prove himself. There have been highlights, but it's been very inconsistent. Completes about half of his passes. I think he's got durability issues that didn't get enough attention leading up to the draft. He had the concussion. He had the hamstring problem. He had the knee surgery. He hurt himself dancing. True story, by the way. Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud, as far as being ready to play right now, that's not even close. That's almost embarrassingly in CJ Stroud's favor. So that's where the 3 factors go. The one that CJ Stroud can actually control, he has the advantage. The 2 that he can't, Anthony Richardson has the advantage. Coaching, surrounding cast, ready to play. What are the biggest hurdles for these guys? CJ Stroud, we heard all the reports. We know the system at Ohio State. How is he going to handle Bobby Slowick's offense? What the hell is Bobby Slowick's offense? We have no idea there. So that could be a hurdle. The obvious, the growing pains, the wide receivers. Are these wide receivers going to perform better than many people expect? Those are some hurdles. Anthony Richardson, I don't know that he can. I don't know that he can throw the football accurately. I don't know how he can read defenses, and quite frankly, he hasn't played a lot of games. So those are major hurdles. I am also kind of amused. Two things with Anthony Richardson amuse me. Number one, the fact that the durability doesn't come up. Like it was brought up about Bryce Young, but Bryce Young missed less games than Anthony Richardson in much more time. Same thing with CJ Stroud. Although the durability didn't come up with him. Anthony Richardson had multiple body parts injured. He's known. I would think that they're going to want to run a little bit more with him. And there's been some of those like fluke injuries that he's had on multiple body parts. So I think durability is one concern for Anthony Richardson. The other thing that I find interesting is it just feels like there's a lot of excuses being made for Anthony Richardson. And one of the guys that I feel like has been kind of a scapegoat, and I do think this guy kind of broke toward the end of his coaching tenure. And I did think it was kind of hilarious that Dameon Pierce didn't get more carries at Florida, although who knows if Dameon Pierce is going to be able to carry the full load. But the notion that Dan Mullen can't put a quarterback in college in position to perform at a high level, I'm not saying everyone's saying that, but I'm hearing that a little bit too much. Like, well, Dan Mullen held him back. Really? The same guy who was there with Tim Tebow at Florida and the same guy that was there with Dak Prescott his entire time at Mississippi State, he couldn't put a quarterback in position to succeed in college? We sure about that? Who knows? Either way, Anthony Richardson's in better position. I actually think there could be a situation where Anthony Richardson has the better rookie year. But if I were betting, I would bet on CJ Stroud just because I think he's a better quarterback. I think Indianapolis probably thought that too. And they ended up taking Anthony Richardson because CJ was not there. Subscribe, like, right along. Appreciate everyone for coming through. What do you think? Anthony Richardson or CJ Stroud? There's advantages for both. There's question marks for both. And hell, there's a lot of effing dialogue and chatter going on from people like myself and other people on the net. Spread the love. Consume as much Texans digital content as you can. But always remember, this is the number one source for Texans daily digital content. The Locker Room. Appreciate everyone for coming through. See you at training camp. It's going to be here before we know it.
Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top two and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give. We got